Hi guys. I've had the opportunity to sit outside and enjoy this lovely evening tonight, and a couple of things have just kind of popped into my head that I wanted to share with you all, and especially my fellow birth workers, because I think that it's talked about frequently, but may potentially not everyone realizes how common it is with the people that you know and work with as well. And so I just wanted to be super transparent and candid about a few things that I've been going through myself, also as a mother, because it's all relatable, especially in this field of work. And that is that I have started seeing a therapist, and she is wonderful. And I initially thought it was to kind of tackle some postpartum issues that I was facing, not only this go around, but the first and second go arounds that I kind of just left not dealt with. And this time I said, you know what, I'm going to practice what I preach. Also with the help of my husband and one of my closest friends suggesting the same, do what you would tell your clients to do. And so at that point you can't really say no. And so I've started to work with a therapist who is wonderful. She is a birth worker, she is a social worker, and she just really gets it. And so I think that it is so important, as whether you're a doula or a labor and delivery nurse, or maybe even an OB or a midwife, just to acknowledge the trauma that you kind of witness on a day-to-day basis in the healthcare field, and especially in childbirth experiences. I have found it really difficult to feel 100% active in my motherhood role, my birth worker role, my wife role, my friend role, my daughter, sister, in all facets. And I think that a lot of people probably, whether you're a birth worker or not, can relate to this. But the trick that my therapist has told me, and I'm finally coming back to the point of this message, that has worked so well with me, and it seems so simple, why wouldn't anyone think of this on their own, is the word triage. And so that means you've got a to-do list, and to-do lists work so well for so many people, my husband specifically. And for me, I don't think I ever really enjoyed to-do lists, because it made me feel very overwhelmed and anxious to see how much was on the list. How was I going to accomplish so much in such a limited amount of time while taking care of 3 kids, juggling getting them to and from school and activities, seeing my clients, answering texts and emails, being present for births, being present for prenatal and postpartum visits? How can you give your all to each section of that like you were one human being? And so what my therapist recommended was to start to triage things. And so I don't have the to-do list in front of me. I have it kind of in my mind, because for me, that's less nerve-wracking. And I think of what is most important to accomplish today. And I do that first. And if I can make it through that task, then I move on to what is next and most important in accomplishing today. And then if I complete that task, I move on to maybe some less important things that I'd like to accomplish for the day. And it seems so insignificant, but for someone who is suffering from anxiety, which I definitely am, it is really easy to feel snowballed. I can remember in this postpartum period, this last time with Lily, getting text messages on my phone or invitations to meet with a client, and my thumbs would literally almost be painful in responding to these messages, because I just had, I could feel my heart racing trying to respond to everybody that I needed to respond to in that moment. And also dealing with children running around you. And I think that a lot of people who are working from home since COVID times can relate to that. And so that whole sense of triaging the issues and the to-do list and what is necessary to respond to in that moment, what is necessary to deal with by end of day, A, is going to be a moving target. It might be different on a day-to-day basis, but B will really give you the space to like be okay with potentially not doing something that you thought you had to do. And for instance, today, my parents had the girls overnight for a sleepover, and while I initially was like really sad about that, and I told my mom I felt like I didn't have one of my limbs because, I'm not like trying to juggle 3 children being on my own parenting this week. It really was just like, okay, I have a minute. I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to have an adult beverage. I'm going to sit here and just listen to the airplanes passing and my neighbors playing basketball. And I'm going to be okay with that, because nothing that I do right now at 9 o'clock at night is going to make a difference in whether I did it at 9 o'clock tonight or at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And so triaging is my new favorite way to go about doing birth doula work, being a parent, responding to overstimulating buzzes in your head, and just really trying to be present for where you're at in that moment, and feeling okay with that. And so, yeah, just wanted to share that. So try triaging.